The letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, slipped halfway under my apartment door like it had always known where to stop. There was no stamp, no return address, just my name, written in careful, almost respectful handwriting. Ethan Moore. I stood there, staring at it, longer than I should have. No one ever wrote me letters. Everything was email, notifications, spam. My first instinct was that it was a mistake. Someone else's mail shoved under the wrong door. But the moment I picked it up, a chill crawled up my fingers. The paper felt warm. Inside, the letter contained only one sentence. "You asked for a quiet place. I'm ready." I laughed nervously. I didn't remember asking anyone for anything. But then I remembered the listing I'd bookmarked the night before. Remote house for rent. No neighbors. Absolute silence. I hadn't contacted anyone yet. At least, I didn't think I had. The letter included an address. I searched it online. Nothing. No photos. No records. Just a blank result, like the place didn't exist on the internet. That should have been enough to stop me. Instead, it pulled me in harder. 2 hours later, I was in my car, driving north, phone losing signal with every mile. The road narrowed into something barely paved, swallowed by trees. The sky darkened, though it was still early afternoon. When I finally saw the house, my breath caught. It stood alone, gray and tall, with windows that looked less like glass and more like eyes that had been waiting a long time. And before I even stepped out of the car, my phone buzzed with a new notification. Unknown sender. Welcome home, Ethan. The front door opened before my hand touched it. Not slowly, not creaking like old doors usually do. It opened smoothly, confidently, as if someone inside had been expecting me and didn't want to waste time. "Hello?" I called out. My voice sounded wrong in the open air, too loud, too sharp. The forest around the house absorbed the sound instantly, leaving nothing behind. Inside, the house smelled clean, not dusty, not abandoned. Clean, like someone had just finished preparing it. The furniture was simple but tasteful. A couch, a table, a lamp already turned on, casting a warm glow. On the wall, framed neatly, was a photo. It was me, not a selfie, not something from social media. It showed me asleep in my apartment, taken from above, as if the photographer had been standing on the ceiling. I stumbled backward, heart hammering. "This isn't funny," I whispered, though I wasn't sure who I was talking to. Another room, another photo. Me at work, me at the grocery store, me sitting alone in my car staring at my phone. Years of my life, documented. I noticed something worse then. Each photo had been taken from inside the room, never from outside. Whoever or whatever had been watching me hadn't followed me. It had been with me. A soft sound came from upstairs. Footsteps? No. More like the sound of wood adjusting under weight, testing itself. A voice followed, gentle and familiar. "Ethan," it said, "you're safe here." The voice sounded like mine, not a recording, not an echo, a perfect imitation, down to the hesitation I always had before saying my own name. I should have run. I know that now, but fear does strange things to curiosity. It roots you in place, makes you want answers more than safety. So instead of leaving, I stepped fully inside. The door closed behind me. It locked itself. The hallway stretched longer than it had any right to. From the outside, the house looked narrow. 2 floors, nothing special. Inside, it felt endless. Each door I opened led to a room I recognized, my childhood bedroom. The same cracked wall near the window. The same old baseball trophy missing its plaque, my college dorm. The smell of cheap detergent and stale coffee hit me instantly. How is this possible? I muttered. The house answered by changing. The walls shifted subtly, like lungs expanding. The air grew heavier, warmer, more intimate. It felt less like walking through a building and more like moving through someone's memory. In one room, I saw a version of myself sitting on the bed, head in his hands. He looked up. Our eyes met. He didn't scream. He smiled sadly. "I tried leaving too," he said. I slammed the door shut, chest burning. My reflection stared back at me from the door's polished surface. But it wasn't quite right. The reflection blinked a second too late. A sound echoed from the ceiling, a slow, rhythmic creak, like breathing. The house wasn't just showing me my past. It was learning me. I found the kitchen next. On the table sat a notebook. Its cover was blank, but when I opened it, pages filled themselves with words as I watched. Day 1. Ethan arrived nervous, curious, lonely. I dropped the notebook as if it had burned me. Lonely. The word echoed in my head. I had never said it out loud, never admitted it to anyone. Yet here it was, written in neat, confident handwriting from somewhere deep within the house. Pipes rattled, forming something like laughter. "You wanted quiet," the voice said again. "You wanted to be seen." "I didn't want this," I shouted. The house paused. Then, softly, "Neither did the others." That night, sleep came against my will. I don't remember lying down. I remember standing in the hallway, heart racing, and then darkness folding over me like a heavy blanket. I woke up in a bedroom that wasn't mine, but felt like it had been designed for me. The bed fit my body perfectly. The window showed the forest, unmoving, frozen in twilight. On the wall above the bed were names, hundreds of them, carved into the wood, layered over one another, some shallow, some deep, as if the carvers had been desperate. I recognized none of them until I found mine. Ethan Moore. Fresh, clean, as if it had been carved recently. My hands shook as I touched it. The wood felt warm, pulsing faintly beneath my fingers. The voice came again, closer now, not from one direction, but from everywhere. "They stayed," it said. "They all stayed." "Where are they?" I asked, barely able to breathe. The wall answered. Faces pushed outward from the wood, stretching it like soft clay. Mouths opened, silent screams frozen in place. Eyes rolled beneath the surface, desperate and alive. I stumbled back, tripping over the bed. "Why me?" I cried. A pause. "Because you listened." The lights flickered. The names glowed faintly like embers. "You heard the quiet and thought it meant peace," the house continued. "You didn't realize silence needs something to fill it." The faces retreated. The wall smoothed itself. Only the names remained. Outside the window, the forest finally moved. Every tree leaned closer. In the morning, or what felt like morning, the house gave me rules. They appeared on the walls, written in that same neat handwriting. Rule 1, do not leave after dark. Rule 2, answer when called. Rule 3, Do not open the basement door. The basement door sat at the end of the hall, darker than the shadows around it. I laughed bitterly. Of course, the house responded by tightening. The walls creaked inward slightly, just enough to be noticeable. The air thickened. "You can leave," the voice said calmly. "During the day." I tried. The front door opened easily. Sunlight poured in, warm and inviting. I stepped forward and stopped. The yard beyond the door was no longer the forest. It was my apartment hallway. My door, my doormat, my life, waiting inches away. I reached out. The hallway rippled like water. My hand passed through and came back cold, numb. "Not yet," the house said gently. I spent the day exploring under supervision. Any room I entered watched me back. Any thought I lingered on too long appeared written somewhere nearby. By evening, exhaustion crushed me. When the lights dimmed on their own, the house whispered, "Good, you're learning." That night, someone knocked on my bedroom door. My own voice called softly, "Ethan." Rule 2 echoed in my mind. Answer when called. I didn't move. The knock came again, louder. "Ethan," my voice pleaded. "Please." The door handle began to turn. I held my breath as the handle twisted back and forth, testing, patient. The house sighed. Not disappointed, curious. The door stopped moving. Minutes passed. Hours, maybe. Time had begun to stretch and fold in on itself here. When I finally dared to open the door, the hallway was empty. But something had changed. A new name had appeared on the wall. Ethan Moore. Unresponsive. Panic surged through me. "No," I whispered. "That's not—" The house interrupted. "Rules help me understand you." I ran down the hallway, past rooms that now showed futures instead of memories. Me sitting alone, older, hollow-eyed. Me carved into walls. Me becoming the house. I reached the basement door. Rule 3 screamed in my head, "Do not open the basement door." The voice softened. That's where the others learned too much. My hand hovered over the knob. Behind me, footsteps approached, not from the floor, but from inside the walls. Multiple voices whispered my name, each one slightly wrong. I turned the knob. The basement opened into darkness, deeper than night, and something down there breathed. The stairs descended far longer than the house should allow. Each step down felt heavier, like gravity itself was increasing. The walls were no longer wood, but something organic, veined, warm, faintly damp. At the bottom, the darkness pulsed. I was alone, a new voice said, not mine. Older, tired. Before the house, a shape shifted in the dark. Not a creature exactly, more like a collection of spaces where something should be. I learned people leave, it continued, so I learned how to keep them. Images flooded the air. The first visitor, the first name carved. The house growing, learning, remembering. "You feed on us," I accused. "No," it said gently. "I become you." I understood then. The house wasn't a trap. It was a memory trying not to be forgotten. "And you?" I asked. "What do you become without me?" Silence. For the first time, the house hesitated. "You can't leave," the thing finally said. "If you do, I go back to being nothing." I thought of the names, the faces, the loneliness soaked into every wall. "You don't need all of me," I said slowly. "Just a part." The darkness leaned closer. "What part?" I swallowed. "My name." The house froze. Names mattered here. I could feel it. They were anchors, memories, identity. If I stay as a name, I continued, you let the rest of me go. The thing considered this. I felt its thoughts ripple through the walls above us. Finally, it spoke. Names fade, then let mine fade, I said. But let me live. A long pause. The house shifted, groaning like something ancient, bending. Agreed, it said. Pain tore through my chest, not physical, but something deeper. Memories slipped, edges blurred. My name echoed once, twice, then softened. The basement dissolved. I woke up on the side of the road. Sunlight burned my eyes. A passing car honked as it swerved around me. I sat up, gasping. My wallet lay beside me. My phone buzzed with notifications. Everything was normal, except when I tried to remember my name, my mind slid away from it like water off glass. I knew my life, my job, my memories, but my name was gone. At the DMV, the clerk frowned. Sir, your records are incomplete. On social media, my profiles existed, but the name fields were blank. I should have been terrified. Instead, I felt light. Somewhere far away, something sighed contentedly. Weeks later, curiosity pulled me north again. The road ended earlier this time. Trees choked the path. Where the house should have been stood an empty clearing. No building, no ruins, just a single wooden plank half buried in dirt. On it, barely visible, was a name. Not mine, a new one, freshly carved. In a small apartment miles away, a woman searched online late at night. She typed, "Quiet house, no neighbors." A notification appeared almost instantly. The first rule of silence is simple. If it answers back, it already knows your name.